Hi, my name is Ashley R. Singh, and I play Crystal in the movie Doing It, and I'm here with Pop Culture with Pat.
Guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. I'm so excited to be joined by today's guests. Today I'm talking to Ashley Singh, who plays Crystal in the film Doing It. Ashley, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm excited to chat.
Yeah, definitely excited to talk about the film. I watched it and haven't laughed that hard in a while, so I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
But before we kind of get into the film, I wanted to just ask you how you got started in comedy and what kind of inspired the sketches that you've done.
100%. Yeah. I think ever since I was like little, I've always been really into like acting, impersonating family members, just like really about like acting and things like that. It wasn't until 2020 that I really harnessed into making content creation and videos. I think the isolation of COVID drove me a little crazy. And so I was like, I need something to keep me sane. And so a lot of what I do and create has to do with the South Asian culture, taboos, family dynamics. I think being born and brought up here and like in a Indian family, but then being American born has its own nuances. And so a lot of what I do is kind of in that field. And so yeah, it was crazy being kind of discovered and approached for this audition through content creation. I feel like social media has taken such a spin and is so prominent nowadays. Like, who would have thought that Hollywood is now seeking influencers to be a part of projects and things like that?
You never
But
know
yeah,
who's
so
watching.
exactly, 100%. And that this really taught me that for sure.
Yeah, and so what was the transition like as far as going from creating short form content to making your feature debut with doing it?
It's insane because obviously you're like in your room with your like one ring light and your one camera, and all of a sudden you're on like $1 million budget set. And I was like, this is crazy. I still remember for my first line, there's so many noises happening, like rolling sound, lights, this, that. So I said my line like two times too early, and they're like, just say it after action, like not yet. They kept saying like ready, and I would say it. They're like, the ready wasn't for you, it was for the camera guys. I was like, shit. So I remember it took me a minute to kind of get in that flow, it being my first set, but it was such a cool experience. I've fallen in love with being on set, being around cast and crew. It's truly awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, you kind of mentioned it a little bit there, but this being your first movie role, what was just kind of like that whole experience like overall, and what's some of the biggest things that you're going to take away from that experience that you're going to be able to apply to the rest of your career moving forward?
Absolutely. I think being flexible, things really do change in a moment's time. You never know what scene you're shooting next. Things are not barely sequential. So having to kind of go through the plot in your head, maybe you're filming the last scene first and then you're going in between. And so in your character, you're like, I don't know this yet, and I have to pretend I don't know this while filming that. So that was definitely very interesting to wrap my head around it. And it was fun because on the second day of filming my character, the director is like, you're playing Crystal well, but something's missing. And I was like, oh yeah, like tell me anything. And she was like, make it a little bit more airheaded, more ditzy. Let's make Crystal like a valley girl. And so I did a take like that, and she was like, yes, let's keep that till the end of the movie. And so in a second, all of a sudden, this character who I thought was like this changed into that. And so you just have to ebb and flow with what happens, but keeps you on your toes and definitely teaches you how to be like thinking on your feet.
Yeah, and I love that collaborative process that it sounds like you guys had on the
Yeah.
set as well. And yeah, you're playing. I was actually going to ask you. You do play Crystal in the film. Can you talk about how outside of what was in the script, how you wanted to make the character your own?
Yeah. I think I really love Crystal because even when I got the breakdown of the character, in parentheses next to it, it said any ethnicity. And so I think it's great because sometimes certain characters, they have to be Indian because whatever, maybe there's like a religious or cultural nuance to that character. But then for Crystal, it was nice because it was like she doesn't have to be Indian. She just happens to be Indian. So her whole personality was just about being a fun, quirky, fun-loving high school girl, which I really loved. There was like a lightness to it. It definitely makes Indians portrayed in like a different light than how we're usually seen in media. And so I thought it was great to play that kind of role. And it was really fun because, yeah, some things you don't see on the script. Like first day of set, I was brought an hour early for hair and makeup, and I was like, why is that? And they're like, oh, Crystal has crazy makeup. They put me in blue eyeliner. They put me in pigtails. I was like, the last time I had pigtails is when I was like 10. So I was like, this is fucking insane. But it was really cool, and I learned to like learn and like learn more about the character and then lean into it more.
Oh yeah, the whole behind the scenes process is crazy. I think you
Yeah.
don't realize it until you actually work on a film set. I've gotten to
Yeah.
be an extra in a couple films.
Yeah,
Some of the
exactly.
things that I've seen on those sets afterwards, I'm like, yeah, I would have had no idea. Just, I
Yes.
mean, the fact of filming one little scene that could maybe be a couple minutes could take hours to get it right because you're doing it from different angles, but the
Yeah.
hair and makeup and process and everything, it's a lot of fun, especially if you're a big nerd about that kind of stuff. I know I am.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And even like after the first day of filming, I like came home and to detox, I just like put on a show. And when I was watching it, I was like, I can't watch TV the same way. I'm just thinking of how many cuts they did and like what the actors go through. And I was like, and ever since that day, I've never been able to see media the same way, but it's wild.
I know for a little while, I think especially after my first time being an extra, that
Yeah.
I couldn't stop focusing, whether it was a TV show or a movie, just
On
what the extras, like what they're
yes,
having a conversation about in the
yes,
background, because you
yes.
see them talking, but a lot of they just tell you to kind of just, talk about whatever. So
Yeah.
that was something that I couldn't get out of my head for a
Right.
period of time.
Exactly. That's so valid.
And you got to work with Lilly Singh, your childhood inspiration. So
Yeah.
can you just talk about, I mean, first of all, why was she such an inspiration to you and your career and what that process was like working with her on this film?
Absolutely. Growing up, like every Indian kid that's born and brought up in America knows Lily. Like she's such a household name. Like anyone I talk to, they're like, "Oh, I loved her videos growing up." Like she was the YouTuber of like that era. And so it was really crazy because we had just never seen someone. I mean, we're watching, Disney Channel and Nickelodeon, but then you have this Indian girl who's making skits that are so relatable to a different level on YouTube. And so she became a really big outlet. And so I remember even 10 years ago in like 2013, I had gone to her comedy tour that she did at the time. I got the VIP ticket. I met her. And so it was such a full circle moment, like working with her on a set and shooting with her exactly 10 years later. There's even a photo that we like recreated, and I was like 13 versus 10 years later. Crazy. So it was fantastic seeing her in her creative element and getting to see kind of like the inner workings of what her mind is like and how because she wrote it, she started it, she produced it. And so it was really phenomenal to see that.
Yeah, so is that something, I mean, I know you've been doing your own short form content. Is that something down the line where this is your first major acting role that down the line that you would maybe want to see yourself directing a major motion picture or doing something like what she did with this film?
I definitely do see that. I feel like collaborating on like writing a script because I do love writing as well. So I could definitely see myself doing that maybe further down the line. But yeah, for right now, I'm just like acting is what really pushes me forward. Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing this for now. Did I don't know how much of a chance you guys got to act or interact between the scenes, but did she kind of give you any advice as far as just moving forward in your career or
Mhm. She was really she really was like open with like what we thought we could do better and being very like motivating with that. Like she really shared the vision for the film. I feel like a lot of times they just give you the script, they make you record it, but she really let us in on like this is what I hope for the film. This is what I hope people take out of it. Having that creative dialogue behind the scenes for sure. And like I remember after one scene, she's like, "Hey, let's take a selfie." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And we like took a selfie. I go back to my trailer for like a costume change and on in my trailer, she had printed that photo out, made it a Polaroid, and wrote me a little handwritten note and like kept it there. And I was like, that is just so sweet.
yeah.
So she was very thoughtful in those moments for sure.
That's really cool to see it when people go the extra mile to do something like that because it really stands out and it means a
Yeah.
lot. I know I've had people do that for me in the past and it
Yeah.
goes a long way. And the
Definitely.
director of the film too, what makes Sarah stand out as a director and just working, with her?
Yeah, she was fantastic. Like everyone on set, because it was my first project, all the other actors had been in many projects before. They were like, "You are spoiled because having a female director and like a female crew is just like really warm and inviting, you know." And they're just like, "Don't get used to this treatment because it won't always be this nice." And I was like, "Dang," but she was incredible, very collaborative. Like it obviously was her vision, but she was very open to having like some of the other cast would be like, "Oh, let's add this line. Let's do a riff here, let's do that." And she was like, let's film it and see how it looks. So I love that when she was open to kind of leaning into the actors, knowing our perspectives. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that I mean, it's always nice when you have such a collaborative environment and have a director that's so willing to work with you guys. I feel like yeah, it can be a little intimidating if you have someone that's not so much the case. So it's glad to hear
Right.
that you had a good first
Yeah.
experience with that. And what was the experience as far as just getting to share the film with an audience for the first time and getting to be at the festival where you guys premiered it?
Yeah, being at South by Southwest was so incredible. Like, first time on a red carpet, doing press, like, so foreign to it all. So it was genuinely such a good time. I was so nervous because I was like, I'm seeing myself on the screen. Like, what are people gonna react? Like, I was like literally freaking out. My sister during the movie would like try to nudge me and like be like, "How do you feel?" And I'd be like, "Shh," like I'm so scared. Like,
Terrified.
yeah. But everyone's reaction, like the first time everyone, the whole like audience and like the theater like laughed at like the opening scene, it like let a guard down where I was like, okay, okay, we're good. Like we're chilling, like everyone's loving it. And there's a little bit of a twist with my character at the end. And so I'll never forget when my moment happened. And then again, like that laughter erupted amongst everyone. And it was a really heartwarming moment because as an actor, like that's all you wish for is just to bring joy, happiness, and laughter to people's lives, especially in a comedy film.
Yeah, and I mean it's great to be able to connect with the fans, obviously on a one-on-one level and see their instant reaction. But like you said, I imagine it has to be pretty terrifying. I know for me, where
Right.
I've only been an extra, I haven't had like a major role in any of these films, so it's fun to just, oh, let's see if I made it on the screen, but where you guys are
Yes,
actually delivering lines and seeing if people react to that. So that's
exactly.
great to hear that you had a good experience, and I'm sure there'll be many more moving forward. And
Thank
just
you.
to wrap things up for you, Ashley, what's next for you, and where can fans just stay up to date with your career moving forward?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm continuing with content creation on at Ashley SR19. So if anyone wants to follow along with that journey, have been dabbling in the short film space, TV features. So it's been fun. I started with film and then I'm kind of going on like all different aspects of acting. So it's really exciting and I'm excited to see what the future holds.
Yeah, well, can't wait to see what's next for you. Congratulations on the film, Ashley. I'll make sure to put the links to your Instagram and profiles down below in the description. And you are welcome back anytime in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was great speaking with you.
You as well.
Hi, my name is Ashley R. Singh and I play Crystal in the movie Doing It, and I'm here with Pop Culture with Pat.